who are running the media know that the people who are running the businesses are men. And they are the ones who are going to take decisions on where to place their adverts, where to place their money. And the only way they take these decisions is to look at those media that are programming around their interest. Okay. And they are looking at people who are likely, in my view, to project that kind of programming that suits their interest. So it becomes a very cyclical thing. And it would go on and on and on. And that is why when you ask about how do you stop this, it seems to me that in addition to all the complicated solutions that we can think of, one simple approach can be that of policy. Take broadcasting, for example, or even in the newspaper industry. There's newspaper registration that you must do and renew annually. If there's a requirement that in order to renew your registration or in order to register a newspaper, it should have a certain kind of leadership, composed in a particular way of a certain competence, straight away by policy, you've shifted the dynamics. If it is a requirement that in order to obtain a license for radio or television broadcasting, you must have a certain caliber of leadership, and that leadership must reflect a certain diversity, straight away you've adjusted the dynamics. So it seems to me that there are very simple, straightforward things we can do. But there is also the question of mobilization. Take the National Media Commission where I work. About 15 different institutions are given the constitutional duty to nominate people to the commission. Invariably, all these institutions nominate men. In the few occasions where you get women, you see real change. And Prof, please forgive me if I just hate you a bit. This is boardroom information, but I think that for the sake of society we can share. When Audrey, and you'd recall Nana Oye and Mrs. Bannerman from Winneba were members of the commission, just 3 women. That was the time we secured the first board chair for GBC, that was a woman, and secured the board chair for Graphic Communications Group, who was a woman. But I also learned a very important lesson from that, through that process, that amongst the men were also extremely progressive people that, again, at the risk of anything, I can still mention Mr. Kotompao, Cabral Bliame, Nana Jana Penton, and a couple of such people. It taught me an important lesson. One is that when we talk about women's representation, it is just right and just. That requires no further justification. Simply because all of us are human beings, it is important that all of us are there. We cannot expect any special competences for women when we don't place that on men. If the men can risk and fail, the women should be allowed to risk and fail as well. Except that in our particular circumstance, there's also evidence that when the women are there, better things happen. Okay? And the lesson that I say I learned is that for now, there's a certain reality that men control the system. Therefore, maybe in our advocacy, as we try to push women in those spaces that are controlled by men, we also still need to identify those progressive men. So if it is going to be men, then it should be men who think.